Hey guys, Banana Bear here, and today I'm going to be talking about wearing Lolita fashion at Disneyland. So I visit Disneyland a lot. I'm an annual pass holder. I am local to the Anaheim Park. I've also visited Tokyo Disney and Tokyo Disney Sea, so thought it would be a good thing to talk about today. So since I post about the fashion quite a lot, especially on social media, I get a couple of questions from people that tend to come up again and again about the logistics and reality of wearing this fashion at the park when you're gonna be running around all day. So I'm gonna give some of my own advice, my opinions, but as a disclaimer, I don't work for Disney. I don't make the rules. I ask that you use common sense and discretion in dressing yourself and behaving there, and please always listen to Disney Park security and employees. Their word is the end-all be-all on this. Mine is not. This is just my opinion and advice cobbled together from my experiences and from other people who have also been to the parks and offered up their advice. So I tend to get two big questions asked the most. One, can I survive a whole day while wearing this? And two, will I get turned away by security at the gates? These are both great questions, and I'm going to answer them in order. So to answer question one, I think most people can survive a day in the parks wearing this fashion. Every October here at Disneyland, we have Disneyland Lolita Day, which is an unofficial fashion day where about 300 Lolitas come out and enjoy the park together in full fashion gear. It's awesome, and most people are able to make it through the day no problem. So my biggest piece of advice is you're going to be exhausted, you're going to be sore, you're gonna be tired no matter what you wear. You can be wearing the comfiest, most supportive shoes, the best athletic gear, but after 10 hours of running around, probably in the heat, walking, running more than you usually do, you're gonna be tired, so you might as well look awesome while you do it. So you might as well wear heels or tea parties, and if you wear heels, all the better to see the parades. So if you're very concerned about comfort, you can always bring a change of clothes, a change of shoes, etc. and store it in a locker. They're about $10 on property. For my first ever Disneyland Lolita Day, this is exactly what I did. I brought some sneakers, paid 10 bucks to keep them in a locker, and I changed into them as soon as it got dark out and no one cared what was on my feet. At this point, I realized I could make it through the whole time with heels, but for the peace of mind, it may be worth the extra cash. I also have some friends who will bring a change of shoes in a bag and just swap in and out of comfy shoes, cute shoes, as needed for photos, if that's what you prefer. Honestly, it's not a big deal. I also hear a lot of concerns about wigs, and I will say I have ridden pretty much every single Disney thrill ride with a wig on with no problems. I've ridden Space Mountain, Matterhorn bobsleds, Big Thunder, Guardians of the Galaxy over in Disney California Adventure, and it is totally fine. It will not fly off your head. As far as hair accessories, I've actually worn the little combs. I've had friends who've worn combs and those have been fine, but I do advise while you're on the roller coaster, you can just hold on to them like this. That's why there is a little ears graveyard underneath quite a lot of the rides. If you're worried, you can take off your hair accessories, put them in your bag while you do rides, and just replace them. The only thing that I've noticed is sometimes my wig can get a little crazy after rides, especially very windy ones like Space Mountain where they are whoosh, putting fans in your face. But in that case, my concern is generally more my eyelashes falling off rather than my wig, because this is on and I'm holding on to it. So I've done Disneyland Lolita Day with and without a wig, and to me, it really didn't make that much of a difference. If you're really sensitive to wigs and they tend to give you headaches, or you just don't like wearing them, maybe it's not the time, but honestly, you can do it with or without, and it's not gonna be that big of a deal. And as for petticoats, whatever size of petticoat you want, you will be fine with. I have gone with very little petticoat, and I have gone with full, like, Malcolm mode, square dance, mega poof. And I've been totally fine every time. Remember that Disney rides are built for people of all sizes, including their gear. So imagine like a 6-foot tall man plus his backpack is gonna have to fit in each one of these rides, so you and your petticoat are going to be fine. I would recommend tucking in your petticoat and sitting on it so it doesn't spill out over the edges of the ride, but otherwise you should be fine. The only thing that I would maybe watch out for is having how many Lolitas you fit into one ride. I know that the Haunted Mansion Doom Buggies can fit up to 3 bodies, but it's not as comfy when it's 3 bodies plus petticoats. I also personally haven't experienced any issues with lap bars, restraints, or seatbelts while wearing a petticoat. Most of the rides, I think all of the rides in Disneyland, all the rides in Disneyland Tokyo and Tokyo Disney Sea do not have any harness that's gonna have to go in between your petticoat or do anything but kind of sit on top of you. I do know that in Disneyland California Adventure, Jumping Jellyfish and Silly Symphony swings have a between the legs restraint on their kind of swing style rides, so you might want to save those for another day. So as far as rides go, the only rides that I would absolutely give up on doing while wearing Lolita are Splash Mountain, Grizzly River Run, and the Davy Crockett Canoes. These are all water-based rides, splashing rides, tube rides, and I don't think it's pleasant to have a dress and petticoat that's sopping wet. I guess it's up to you, but I've never done it and I've never really felt any need to. So if you visit during the hotter months, which you likely will if you're coming in for Disneyland Lolita Day, you may be worried about the heat. And I'm just gonna say, if it's 100 degrees out, you're gonna be hot if you're wearing a tank top and shorts, or if you're wearing a petticoat and a wig. It does not matter. You're going to be overheated, looking for shade, looking for something to do to cool off. So you might as well look cute. And there are lots of great things to do to beat the heat while you're there. I personally love finding somewhere nice and shady to sit, going shopping, or heading into an indoor or covered attraction. Some of my favorite attractions to do to beat the heat are Tiki Room, Disneyland Railroad, Mark Twain Riverboat, Sailing Ship Columbia, Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln, Star Tours, Star Wars Launch Bay, and the new Millennium Falcon ride does have an indoor air-conditioned queue, which is great. And the Royal Theater also has wonderful shows in the afternoon in a nice covered theater that I love seeing. So finally, keeping your dress clean. One of the biggest questions I get is, how do I keep from getting schmutz or something on my dress while I'm there? And I'd like to assure you they keep the place spotless. I have never had any issues with accidentally sitting in something, picking up dirt or dust or anything. I have sat on and next to the trash cans because it's fun, and my dress was absolutely spotless afterwards. No issues with that. If you're really concerned, you can probably bring wet wipes or napkins and just wipe down anywhere you plan to sit. Most of the things there are just plastic, vinyl, and you can wipe it down easily and be sure that it is nice and clean. I also like to bring a little bottle of perfume or body spray to kind of freshen up throughout the day. It's no substitute for wearing deodorant or actually washing your dress, but when you're feeling kind of hot and muggy, it does help to dry everything off since there's alcohol in it and make you just feel fresh and ready to continue on with your day. I also highly recommend bringing some kind of face powder because I know I tend to get kind of shiny and oily throughout the day, and I really do want to touch up my makeup. So I think when you're planning for a day at Disneyland, and this is something that I used to run into a lot before I started wearing Lolita there regularly, is it can be really tempting to kind of compromise on your outfit because you're so worried about the heat or walking around or lasting a whole day in it, and I would highly encourage you not to do this. You don't need to skip the blouse or change your shoes or lose sight of what you really want your court to be. If you want to plan around hot weather or plan around a specific pair of shoes that you think are comfier, that is absolutely fine, but a day at Disney is not cheap, and I think it kind of sucks to show up there and feel like you've sold yourself short and aren't wearing as cute of an outfit as you would have liked to have worn. So wear whatever you want, wear it with confidence, and trust me, you'll be fine. Okay, so big question number 2, will I get turned away at the gates? So the thing to keep in mind here is that Disney does have a very important rule, which is that there are absolutely no costumes allowed for guests over 14 years of age. Now, what qualifies as a costume can be up in the air, especially when you have someone who's not familiar with the fashion judging you. I would personally suggest going over the rules yourself with the outfit that you have in mind planned, just to make sure that you're not violating anything, which I kind of doubt if you're wearing Lolita fashion. So I know that I, and all other Lolitas worth their salt, know that this is not a costume. This is a fashion that we wear to express ourselves and not to try to emulate another character. But my number one thing to think about when you're planning your coordinate for Disney is don't turn your outfit into a costume. There are a lot of Lolita pieces, especially OTT pieces, that are designed to almost exactly or very closely resemble a princess's dress. These tend to be very OTT, long, special, expensive. They are beautiful, but this is not the time to wear them. Brand collaborations with Tokyo Disney are totally fine. This one is Angelic Pretty x Disney, and I have never had any issues getting into the park while wearing it. It's also great for hot days, especially since those dresses are intended to be sold on Disney property and worn in the Tokyo Disney parks. So if you plan to Disney bound or color block your outfit to resemble or pay homage to a specific Disney character, when you're wearing Lolita fashion or something that's a little more OTT, it can help to not try to copy the other character exactly. For example, in my Alice dress, I never use any kind of black to resemble her head bow or her shoes. Instead, I'll use pink, like my bow right here, and blue to kind of keep with the color scheme of this dress, which is pink and blue, and not to look too much like the character. I also have a shorter wig in a different style than hers because, again, I don't want to confuse anyone or look too much like her. I want to look like someone who's paying homage to Alice, not like Alice herself. And when I did a Snow White Disney bound, I kind of swapped her color palette around. I did a navy blue skirt with an ivory, yellowish ivory blouse, and I completely forewent the red of her cape. As always, put your coordinate first. Follow the Lolita rules about color, balance, etc. before thinking about the character, because then you're just Disney bounding with a Lolita piece and not actually wearing Lolita fashion anymore, and you could put yourself kind of into that costume territory. And I will say that character-inspired cords are super duper popular at Disneyland Lolita Day and highly encouraged. I love to wear them. Lots of people love to wear them. You'll see them everywhere. It's a great time, so don't hesitate to show your Disney love. It also really helps to wear Mickey ears to show that you're a guest because no cast members wear them. There are so many different colors of ears available in Downtown Disney, and you can also order them online. I actually had a pair of ears custom made for my Disneyland Lolita Day outfit. It's a lot of fun to wear them, so embrace it, especially if it goes with your outfit. I've also seen some advice about not wearing solid color dresses or not wearing dresses with aprons, and I've actually never had an issue with that personally. I wear a lot of aprons to the park because that's my aesthetic, and no one minds. I think Disney is one of the few places where people still wear aprons as accessories to look cute, so that should be okay as long as you're not wearing like a solid blue dress with a white apron. As long as it's a print or if it's a different color, it'll be fine. So, going through security. Be prepared to be stopped at the gate, especially at bag check. It is highly likely that whichever security guard you encounter first is going to hold you there for a second and call over their supervisor to okay your outfit. This is normal. Just be calm, be kind, be friendly, chat with them. They're not there to try to deliberately kick you out of the park. They're just doing their job and double checking with their superior to make sure that everything is a-okay. So I have never been turned away at the gate for any of my outfits. I just usually get held up for a second while they verify that everything is good to go. I've also noticed that supervisors tend to be a lot more well-versed in the costume policy, and they also tend to be a lot more familiar with kawaii fashion, Lolita fashion. A lot of them are able to identify, oh, that's from the Tokyo resort, which is always fun, always great to chat with them about it, and they have always recognized my outfit as okay to wear in the park. So once you get into the park, you have a duty to help Disney protect their character integrity. The big thing is that you absolutely cannot take pictures with any other guests at all. I don't care if it's a kid, if it's a really nice lady, if someone is begging you, if they're a fan of the fashion, you're gonna have to say no, because taking pictures with the guests is considered making yourself into an attraction, So I find it's really helpful to say, I am so sorry, but I don't work here, I don't work for Disney, and I am not allowed to take pictures with other guests. I am just a guest here too. And people might be mad at you, but there's not really much you can do about that. That is Disney's problem, and you are just following the rules. You can always just get up and walk away. Now, for having people take pictures of you, I find that's generally okay because Disney fashion snaps are a thing. As long as there's no line, it doesn't create any kind of disturbance. And of course, having your friends take pictures of or with you is totally fine. They can tell who's in your party and who's not. And finally, just expect people to take pictures of you without permission, sneaky shots, full pictures, whatever. Don't try to start anything, just accept that it's gonna happen. I know it's rude, but Disney is the most Instagram place on earth. Don't expect to escape with your anonymity. You also can't interact with people as though you're a character or a princess. This includes little kids coming up to you and thinking, oh my gosh, are you Alice? Handing you an autograph book. Any of that. I know it can be really tempting to just smile and say, oh hello, whatever, interact with them like that, not break their adorable little hearts, but you do have to make it very clear. It is on you to ensure that everyone around you knows you are not Alice, you are not Belle, you are not Cinderella, etc. So I find with kids a really good thing to say is, I'm not Alice, but I'm a really big fan of hers. You can see my outfit is really inspired by her today, and I know kids really like to look at your print, see what you're wearing, so I like to, when I'm wearing this kind of dress, show them, can you find Alice right here? Can you find the Cheshire Cat? That kind of thing. Just make it very clear that you're not that character, but you're excited to see them too. And even though you're not pretending to be a princess, you can still behave in a way that is princess-like, polite, cordial, kind. One of my favorite things about wearing this fashion to the park is that not only does it make me really happy, but it brings joy to so many other people who are excited by my outfit, interested in what I'm wearing. And I love meeting all these new people who come up to me and say, I love your outfit, or who want to chat about it, who I otherwise never would have met or talked to. It is also likely that in-park security is going to ask about your outfit, even if you're not doing anything wrong at all. They might come up to you, ask, hey, what are you wearing? What are you doing? And you can just tell them, gate security okayed my outfit, I am wearing harajuku fashion, I'm Disney bounding, etc., something like that, and explain what you're wearing. Say that you know the rules about taking pictures, and that you've been very careful that day, and they will most likely let you go. I have had to talk to many a security guard. It's all been fine as soon as they realize that I'm a responsible individual who's there to enjoy the parks and not trying to impersonate anyone or accidentally flouting costume rules. So I have actually experienced Disney security asking me to get changed, which is the next level after they ask what's up, what are you doing, you explain it, and they say, well, you're gonna need to get changed anyway. And it was not a fun experience, but I did just talk to the guard, explain, hey, I'm wearing this harajuku fashion, I'm not trying to impersonate anyone, I'm just here to hang out and take some pictures. In the end, he ended up saying, well, I'll let you go, but the next guy might be much angry about this and he won't be as lenient, which is, I mean, it is what it is. I ended up getting changed anyway because I was there for pictures and I had a secondary outfit ready, and I was kind of tired of security being on my derriere all day. Not fun. But in my situation, it was definitely a case of a lot of other elements compounding to make me look not as legit. So I don't think that's a common experience at all in all the times that I've ever worn Lolita to the park. That's happened once. So I don't think it's gonna happen, but if you think you have an outfit that might toe the line, it may be a good idea to pack a backup and just be ready. Know that it might happen to you, but it's not the end of the world. Absolute worst case scenario, they just ask you to change your outfit and you can go on with your day. You're not gonna get banned. And you'll be fine. So I know that may sound a little grim, but let's move on to just talking about stuff that is extra fun to do in the parks when you're wearing Lolita fashion. So I absolutely love interacting with characters while I'm wearing something really cute like this. They all tend to be really, really excited to see you wearing something special. The princesses all love to chat about it. You can compare your outfit, you can spin with them. The fur characters get super excited and they do all these very exuberant motions. And one of my favorite things I've ever done was compare the lace on my wrist cuffs to Captain Hook's little lace edging on his coat. So it's always a really good time, and I notice it does make an extra special interaction. I would also highly recommend just chatting with non-entertainment employees. They love your outfit too, and they're there to make your day really fun and special. And if you go into Star Wars land, a lot of the atmosphere is very roleplay based, and I do notice that the cast members there will treat you a little differently based on what you're wearing. And last time I was there, they called me an off-planet princess and treated me as though I was some kind of emissary from another planet, which was really, really fun. And as I mentioned earlier, having heels or tall shoes on helps you to see better during parades, and if you're kind of near the front of the parade crowd, you very much stand out, so it's really fun to have parade performers wave to you, interact with you, see what you're doing, because they're going to notice you right away. So another one of my favorite things to do in the park is to find fellow Lolitas and old-fashioned peeps. If you're there for Disneyland Lolita Day, this should be very easy, but I also find that whenever I visit the park, I tend to run into people wearing Lolita or harajuku fashion, and I love just chatting with them, getting to know them, comparing outfits. It's all fun. I also run into a lot of people wearing decora, goth fashion, really cool Disney bounds, and I love hanging out and chatting and meeting fellow fashionistas or aesthetically interested people. And this is the one case in which I will actually break my photo rule and take pictures with them, because I think it's very clear to everyone around us that nobody's trying to impersonate anyone, we're just fellow fashion lovers. And of course, taking pictures. Disney is not the most Instagram place on the planet for no reason. Everything around there is gorgeous and aesthetic, and I notice in my pictures there I look so happy because I'm just having a great time. So those are my very, very favorite pictures that I take. And I am planning an upcoming video on the best photo spots in Disney, because that's going to take a long time to explain because I have so many favorites. And finally, I think it's really important to relax and enjoy the atmosphere. Wearing Lolita fashion kind of forces you to slow down and relax because you're wearing all these layers, you're wearing something heavy, you probably have more cumbersome shoes on. It's a lot harder to try to run around to every attraction and play the game of seeing how many things you can do in a day. So I think it's good to just embrace that. Sit down with a snack, sit and enjoy the ambience, look at all the beautiful things, all the details that are in every single part of the park, not just the rides. You can watch the ducks, the turtles, look for cats, go shopping. There are so many fun things you can do that tend to get overlooked in favor of attractions. And whenever I go visit the parks in Lolita with people, I always encourage them to just sit down and hang out with me, and invariably it ends up being one of their favorite parts of the day. So I hope this was helpful for you if you plan on visiting the Disney parks in Lolita fashion, or are just interested in learning more about it or planning your trip. I honestly cannot recommend it enough. I know parts of this video have probably seemed overly cautionary or restrictive, but I promise you it is absolutely worth any extra rules or regulations you have to follow just to wear this fashion in the parks, because it is so much fun to kind of feel like you're part of the magic, part of the story, wearing an adorable outfit in an aesthetic environment. If you have any further questions or anything else you'd like to ask, please don't hesitate to leave a comment or send me a message, send me a DM, send me an email. I will be more than happy to answer. So don't forget to subscribe. I plan on uploading more kawaii content very soon, and I did promise that video on the best Disney photo spots, so stay tuned, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!